Chair, I'll yield to you for any questions you may have.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the point of asking questions at this point? I mean, these bills, as I said at the outset, are not going to be signed into law. They've been loaded up with all kinds of culture war matters that don't belong in these bills. And it really is quite disappointing to see how dysfunctional we've become. I began my career as an intern up here. I've worked as a staffer and served as a member of Congress now for many years. And I remember when the appropriations process was truly bipartisan, when regularly, when the House would bring an appropriation bill to the floor, there'd be large bipartisan votes. That's not where we are right now. And any attempt at trying to be bipartisanship, then come to the Rules Committee, and the Rules Committee will screw it all up so that it is partisan. We had an NDAA bill that passed out of committee 57-1. I mean, people, Democrats and Republicans, 57-1. You can't get Democrats and Republicans to agree on lunch, but they agreed on moving that bill forward. It comes to the Rules Committee, goes to the floor, and it becomes this totally partisan vehicle. So, I mean, bipartisan.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yeah, happy to.
Did it pass on the floor, the NDAA?
Yeah, it did, yeah. Well, but that bill is not, that bill as it is not going to look like it is if it ever sees the light of day. But there's no attempt at bipartisanship, and this obsession that my Republican friends have with attacking women's reproductive health care and going after the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, it is outrageous. It is offensive, and I think you get up every morning and say, how do we go after women's rights today? How do we attack the LGBTQ community today? And by the way, those are human rights issues. Those are human rights issues. Women's reproductive health care is a human rights issue, whether you want to admit it or not. LGBTQ plus issues are human rights issues. Climate change is a human rights and a national security issue as well. And again, these partisan bills that are loaded up with MAGA priorities to get a partisan vote, I mean, it is a waste of time. I guess, again, maybe it's good fundraising for the Republican base, but it's like, this is not the way this place is supposed to work. And it really is disheartening. So, yeah, I could ask a 1,000 questions, but on what? On bills that are not going to ever be signed into law the way they are written. They're going to have to be dramatically and drastically changed. And by doing it this way means that, we will probably get either a temporary short-term spending bill, and then if we get to a long-term spending bill, there'll be really no thoughtful and meaningful discussion to make sure we're getting it all right, because we'll be all rushed to the very, very end. But I got to tell you, things really need to change, and I would tell my friends this appropriations process is not the way we should do business here. And again, and some of the things that you feel you have to include, they're offensive. They really are offensive. And so I thank everybody for being here, but I'll spare you any questions, and I'll yield back my time.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Gentleman yields back the gentleman from South Carolina.